This is Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. We're here on Xbox Series X, taking a look at this latest entry in the obviously very long-running Dynasty Warriors series. So this one is not open world like the previous one. It is back to, I guess, more of a set location of boxes that you're battling in. And this is more of a strategy type experience. So you might find this to be a little less entertaining if you're looking for something where you are doing like intense battles all the time, because a lot of this is like building up your army, strategizing, taking over the different regions of China. I mean, obviously we're showing off the intense action-packed gameplay because that's what we want to do, but you get what I'm saying, is there's more to this game than just like the battles. There are like, you know, little strolls you can go on which kind of present some areas with a little bit of freedom for exploration. But yeah, most of this is based around, you know, these smaller battles to defend and attack and like invade lands and whatnot. And then a lot of diplomacy and strategy and, yeah, building an empire. So obviously you might have noticed I've got this crazy panda guy. The game has an intensely insane system for which you can, well, basically create whatever kind of weird officer you want. So I created my insane officer, and that's kind of what we've been doing at this point, is enjoying that. At first it was like there was a 12th option and it was like a panda, and I was like, that's interesting. And then I saw that you could customize the panda because I had chosen it as a joke, and then I'm like, okay, I'm green now. And then I'm like, oh, I can have a monocle, and it just became more and more ridiculous. And now I have this stellar character right here that is just pure magic. That's what this is. Pure magic. So you're probably wondering about how this game is running on the Series X. Well, if you haven't noticed, this is the performance mode, so we're getting 60 FPS here. I think it's like 1080 or something like that, because it's very, very jagged around. Well, not very, like, it's pretty jagged around like trees and some background stuff. Like the foreground, you know, the character models look alright, but they're not like really sharp. So you can adjust this kind of in the system settings options. We actually have to go to the main menu to do that, it looks like, which is kind of funny. Here's a bunch of these settings. But there is also a kind of visual option where you can do 4K 30. So you kind of, I guess, set that up in the, you can't even change it on the fly. That's fascinating. So we'll have to show that off a bit later in the video, and it'll be marked so you can easily jump to that. I kind of just assumed you'd be able to switch between it. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, really, why would you, like, honestly, for this one, having the frame rate when you're doing the big battles is kind of important. It's, I don't know. For me, it's a 60 FPS is kind of the way to go, but, you know, you can choose the other way. I have kind of noticed that there are some performance issues here or there, like it's not, you know, it's not perfect, but it does run smoothly fine most of the time. Good sense of scale within the battles, large enemy forces that you're fighting, but it also feels really aged. I don't know if others are feeling that at this point, but, you know, you've played 1, 2, 3, 4 of these, 5 of these Dynasty Warrior games. They do start to kind of blend together, and then there's like all these spin-offs and whatnot. So that's an interesting element of it. But if you like to go to these, like, you know, decently large maps and jump in and fight for different regions, you might find this to be an intriguing experience. Like, you know, I do find that there is some fun in having these like huge, you know, war scenarios going on. There's definitely entertainment in that for sure. I do find the whole strategizing elements a little bit boring and a little bit like, whoa, what exactly are we going for here? But I think some will actually really love that aspect, that you are kind of essentially working as these individuals and then these like overall officer groups in order to build, you know, this kind of dynasty thing. There's a lot of characters that return that are present here. Some of like the special customized officers, I think they all return, and then there's a bunch of like generic ones too that have been added to this. So you do like castle kind of sieging battles, and you try to defend or attack depending on the scenario, what you're doing. and then you just kind of mow down huge forces that are present within the battles, and that's really what this is. And you change the tide of war by doing the different scenarios. There's like sneak attack things and stuff like that. Like it's a cool experience. It's just like, I don't know, kind of almost expect a little bit more at this point from this series. I mean, if you've never played a Dynasty Warriors game, you might actually find this to be kind of neat, just due to the concept of what it is and you know what the gameplay is like, where you're coming in here doing these intense battles, having these different abilities and smashing things up. And again, like the customizer for creating your own character is just incredible. I mean, like, I was a panda guy, and then I was a panda guy with a cool like badass cloak cape thing going on. It's fantastic. But yeah, you do all these things, you do these fights, you create things, you defend, you attack. There's all these scenarios. As you can tell, lots of pop-in and stuff. It doesn't really feel like something that's truly taking advantage of the next gen, if that makes sense. So that is a little disappointing, despite it being like optimized for next gen. I do feel like there should be, you know, more that they're getting out of this, if that makes sense. Like I feel like the console can handle more, and it's just not properly hitting its mark like it should. And I don't, you know, I really don't think there is a reason this shouldn't be running at 4K 60 in my opinion. And I mean, like, it looks like fine for the most part, but you look at the world around and stuff, it just doesn't really feel like it's totally taking advantage of next gen software. Like, it's cool to have these numbers, but you know, if we do have this kind of visual downgrade for performance, there should at least be, like, I don't know, much larger enemy factions, like way bigger factions almost. Like, there's a lot of troops here and stuff, right? Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I feel like there should be more out of it. But there's some neat stuff where you're like, kind of, again, you gotta like raise currency and stuff to unlock things and build up your forces and your influence, and there's all these different like scenario battles, because the whole point of this is to a degree to have like historical type scenario setups going on with different, like, the politics of the battle. It's not just like the conflict of the battle, it is a little bit more about, you know, the politics of this conflict and what's going on and the engaging scenarios that kind of follow it, which is cool. And claim victory, that's what I shall do. I don't know, there's always something for me entertaining about these games, seeing these like absolutely massive crowds of like enemies and just kind of like mulching through them. I kind of wish we were doing a attack, because it would be more interesting to see, you know, this sort of like battle thing where we're sort of like pushing inwards. I am dying like crazy. I'm just gonna get a little bit of a heal up going on here. Defeat plan captain to stop the fire attack. Okay, I guess we got like 9 seconds left to go do this. I feel like I'm gonna kill this guy in time. I was trying to end the battle there by going after that person. Oh, I actually thwarted that. Wow, okay. Props to me. I am the ultimate team leader and stuff. But no, this is cool. You just want to come in here, like, mulch big enemies. But I mean, like, look at the pop-in and stuff, too. It's just, like, it's not mind-blowingly next-gen. Let's put it that way. And that's fine if you don't expect it to be. I mean, I'm sure there's, to a degree, there's probably, like, a certain level of gameplay expectation that a lot of people will have for like what this is like, and they'll be totally fine with it, and that's cool too. You know, I don't have problems with that. It's just kind of like, I don't know, sort of hoping for more from the series. Something that evolves it a little bit further would be nice. And I don't know really you really take it though, right? Because it's like the fun of this one to a high degree is the fact that you are, you know, mulching these huge enemy factions, and it's like, what else? Where else does that go? I really don't know, but again, that's not really up to me to kind of come up with, is it? I suppose. Stop accompanying. Accompany me into battle! Got these 6 swords. Oh, and the music is really great, though. That's a fun part, is like the audio is just like always kicking in this game. Oh, and there's all these dynamics of like gaining officer groups fighting together. Like you do that a lot on your strolls as you try to like gather these forces in order to, you know, be able to do these different battles. I defeated 600 enemies. Wow, good for me. Absolutely decimating these guys. But yeah, there's so many different war scenarios, but there's not like really much else outside of that. Like I mean, there's a lot of content in that regard. Like you could do all these different battles and different like era things and stuff. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, it's not like there's different like real mode things that are part of this, right? Continue to defend the ring with my life. I think that's the guy we need to kill. He's got a cool outfit on. Yeah, there's like hero characters. I love the creation element of it. That's really fun. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know. I want something else with this series at some point. I almost feel a little bit bad that I missed out on the huge open world entry, because that would have been neat to see. But then again, at the same time, I think part of the charm of this one is doing these specific setups. But I think there's only so much you can like kind of almost rehash before you gotta really come up with something wild. And like I said, we're at like, you know, 9+ options, right? Like, oh, I love that panda thing. It's just hilarious looking. Retreat? Forced to retreat? More like he's a dude. I killed that guy. We did it, guys! Everybody high five! We pushed these forces back, but there is a whole scenario where you actually like fight in the castle, like break in and stuff. But obviously, we dominated them. Like, just like look at that poppin' though, right? Like, I don't know. Alright, so we'll show off a bit of this. We do want to present the whole, I guess you would say, like, making choices kind of area. And you recruit people, and blah 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 blah. You see there's different factions and regions. You're trying to, like, expand your territory. Yeah, and it does load pretty fast, which is good. You know, all things considered, it doesn't take too long, but it's still kind of like, that could be a little bit faster, too. It's kind of like, it's just another entry. It's not like it's impressing you by really using that hardware to its fullest. April. See, we've got like this war council thing going on. May the heavens protect us. Yeah, blah blah blah. So you can see, oh, we're doing an attack. Oh, geez, I guess we're, can we... So you can see in the main menu here we have the graphics, the action mode, which is, you know, what we mentioned, the 60 FPS, and then the movie mode, which is the 30 FPS, which we will apply and then jump into the next battle here. So this is the quality mode. As you can tell, the drop down to 30 FPS, and we do get a visual increase. Yeah, a lot more sharpness there on the lead character, but this really doesn't feel nearly as good as the other one does. So let's begin our advance and our attack, and this is just kind of, again, showcasing how this is running and everything like that, just so you get an idea between the two different versions of the game when it comes to settings. But yeah, this one doesn't even really, I don't know, it doesn't feel smooth or fluid to play, and it does like significantly look better visually, but there's still like, you're gonna notice like popping and stuff. We'll show that as we run around and we take these different areas and we battle against these foes. And siege this area. You're spongier and you need to die. Or get knocked out, I guess. He gets knocked out. What's up, guys? So that's what it's all about, taking out your opponents in these large battle scenarios. I mean, I will say, like, the armor and stuff, pretty well detailed. Lots of customization, as I keep mentioning. I love it so much, like, the ridiculousness of, like, being this panda-like character. But as you can tell, there's still ridiculous amounts of, like, pop-in and stuff as you move through the scenes. It's just, to me, that is, like, not what I want to see for this game. But you know, I will say you could definitely have some fun with this. If you like the Dynasty Warriors series, I think you're gonna kind of enjoy this aspect of it. Just keep in mind that this is more of like politically driven instead of being necessarily like, you know, war driven. You've seen 2 war scenarios in a row, but a lot of this is kind of like, oh, you know, the down months of raising and pillaging to get some points up, or just trying to get extra currency to buy some extra things and get some influence and add some new officers and stuff to your rank. And I can definitely see how this would be overwhelming for a lot of people. There is a tutorial that should help as well for kind of figuring things out, in case you are, you know, new to this franchise and being like, oh, what's going on here? But yeah, I myself also need to keep up with this better. I didn't realize we were... Totally forgot about 9, and then now we're here at 9 Empires, and it's like, whoa! Time flies when you're battling dynasties. You fan and he uses a fan? That kills me. Prevent the ballista. Well, I'm just trying my best to take these different positions. What can I say? We did take this region, right? Like, it's okay. It's ours. Let's go and deal with this stuff. 'Cause that's what they need. They need a hero. Like, it's not too bad at 30. Like, it's definitely visually much better looking. I think, you know, that clarity is there, but it is nice to have fluid frame rate going on, right? But that's a nice thing, you know, the choice is yours between the 2 modes. I've defeated 400 enemies. Alright, so we got that one. Now we need to get to the other side over there to go get this other thing. And there's different like stances and stuff you could set up too. You can have all these different weapons and whatnot available to you, if you'd like. We're running low on time. Rams have appeared in advance on the gate has begun. That's good to know. I like the flashy abilities, and you can like, you know, customize that aspect too if you want some different attack options. Oh, we haven't taken this. How many of these base captains I gotta kill? It's weirdly like appealing to sit here and just like hack and slash through these like forces and stuff. There we go. Decisive battle. Well, let's make our way in there. This is actually like a pretty small castle. The first battle we did was like this huge colossal area and everything like that. But I hope you've enjoyed this kind of look at the Dynasty Warriors 9 Empire. Got an idea of, you know, what it's like gameplay-wise. We'll just be showing off some more of it so you can keep seeing it in action. But this is the combat. Keep in mind, a lot of it is strategy, making choices, building up your empire. Stuff like that. Wow, I am having some issues with this huge faction. Maybe we should add some horseback stuff going on. I feel like there are a lot of foes here. But this is what it's all about, guys. Filling the screen with enemies. I always find it entertaining.
ここで覗いておかねば